everybody. I am Krissa Rossbund, the Senior Style and Design Editor for Traditional Home Magazine, and I am thrilled and honored to be with you here today at LCDQ Strong. LCDQ has always provided so much aspiration as I design my own home and inspiration as I create editorial features for traditional home. I know we couldn't be there in person this year, but I am so happy that LCDQ Strong is still happening today, and everybody will get a sneak peek preview of some of the new introductions from all of the LCDQ participants. On that note, I've split everything into a bunch of categories that I see to be key categories for myself as I create stories, and I'm happy to share those with you today. I want to first start with the color pink. I think if we all think back maybe 5 or so years ago when pink became such a powerful color and maybe what we thought to be a fashionable color here today, gone next year, that has not proven to be the case. We have embraced pink and are committed to this color, not only as a moment of fashion, but as a moment of neutral. So we are seeing this blush version and the popularity of it continue. And I always describe this color, it's not sort of a sweet little girl Easter Sunday dress pink. It's more sophisticated than that. It's the color of a man's tie or a man's shirt. So that's what I think carries it over into design and makes it that beautiful neutral that's soft and pretty and feminine without having that saccharine sensibility that can be a bit too much. So my first pick is from Alt for Living. If you've never met Annalise Taft, you should. She's delightful and has a great eye for eye-catching design and great quality at value prices. First, I have a rug from Sheer. This is from their translation collection, the Ellery rug, and it's hand tufted in construction. So even though it's at a value price, you're still getting that quality of great construction. And let's not forget that with those rugs, there's complete customization possibilities. So that's what we have from Sheer. Next, from Le Studio, also from Alt for Living, is a textile. And this textile, I can say, is tool time. That's right, from Le Studio, this tulle fabric belongs in the home and not on a bridal gown, which is where we might normally see a tulle style fabric. It's hand-dyed silk tulle that is pleated and then heat appliqued over Belgian linen. One example of fashion meeting home. And we see that a lot in the home industries world. So this is a great example of it, bringing in that tulle with a bit of texture and a bit of tension, if you will, with all of the mismatched, unintentional pleats that are happening. Next, we have Hollywood at Home and a gorgeous Penny Morrison floral wallpaper. And who doesn't like flowers and pink flowers? It's spring after all. So Penny Morrison is a Welsh textile and wallpaper designer. And that apparently runs in the family. This is her Dahlia print, and it's designed by Penny's daughter, Sarah. It debuted as a linen print and is now debuting as a wallpaper. It's printed in England, and I would love to have this wallpaper, maybe in my home office. Maybe I should do a redo. Next, we have Serena Dugan Studio. And if you've heard the name Serena Dugan before, it is with good reason. She was one of the founders of Serena and Lily, and this is her debut first solo venture. And we're so proud of her. Since she started Serena and Lily, she's sort of gone off on her own and has produced a great line of fabrics and wallpapers. This is Casus, a grass cloth wallpaper that's striped with moments of nature. And speaking of nature, next we're going on to C.W. Stockwell from Harbinger. Fishing on a boat probably suits all of the social distancing that we're going to have to do this summer just fine. But until you get there, we've got the fish-themed Sakana wallpaper. And again, that's from C.S. Stockwell. And this wallpaper was inspired by koi fish. Also from C.W. Stockwell is the Palmetto wallpaper. And this wallpaper happened when C.W. Stockwell worked with Harbinger owner Joe Lucas to bring this specific pattern back from its archives. Joe wanted to use this pattern that's been around for 50, 60 years in a space that he designed for this year's Palm Beach Kips Bay show house. It's the pattern that graced the walls of that space, and C.W. Stockwell brought it back. And here's a little secret. This wallpaper inspired the renovation rather, excuse me, for the Beverly Hills Hotel. So that's an exciting little moment of history. Another color that is so prolific right now is turquoise. And I think we all love those aquas and turquoise colors that emerge from the ocean. And I love that pink was my other color of choice because you put pink and turquoise together and you get Palm Beach, a place that so many of us have traveled to and love for its fabulous inspiration in fashion and certainly architecture and home. This first fabric from Alt for Living looks like part marble, part lightning strike in its sort of random coloration and pattern of turquoise black and a deep mustard color. Next, we go from marble and lightning strikes to something more subtle, sophisticated, and frankly, drop dead gorgeous, beautiful. And that is Gracie. And we're familiar with Gracie for its hand painted customized qualities of its wallpaper murals. They're gorgeous, they're coveted, and this particular one is called Caroline Street. It was originally done for a Key West family home of the owners of Gracie. It includes tropical flowers and birds native to Florida. And again, with Gracie, that's a detail that we love so much, that every mural is unique. It can be customized to a region, a special destination with the flora and fauna of that particular place. So from Gracie. Next, we're going from the walls to the floor with the cement tile shop. The Ensley, a new original design from the Hacienda Design Studio collection. It's a fun and sophisticated graphic look and a modern take on Art Deco. So something for the floor, and patterned floor tiles continue to be such a hot trend that I think will stay around for a while. But going from the hard floor to the soft part of the floor, from Mansour, we have a rug by Michael Smith. And who hasn't been left in awe of a clear starry night? That's what this particular rug emulates and looks to be. It's hand knotted silk and oxidized wool, and it's from the Michael W. Smith collection. It captures the beauty, clarity, and infinite possibilities of the celestial sphere. My next category is fine lines, and I wanted to delve into pattern after color a little bit because they love to play with one another. I love this category called fine lines because of its graphic nature. And a big trend, and I don't even know if it's a trend or if it's sort of a lesson in the world of design, is it's all about the mix. It's mixing traditional and classic pieces with more modern pieces. Something that's very shapely with lots of curves and carvings, with something that has strict hard lines, and you get that wonderful design aesthetic tension that we all love so much, and what makes a room void of any trends really, and void of a specific style to make it uniquely yours and timeless. So we're starting with a rug by Maribon. This is the Macy collection by Form Studio Design, and it's a wonderful kaleidoscope pattern that belongs on the rug and is full of color, full of life. And I just think that this would look really incredible paired with more classic pieces. So again, you get that visual tension, but not only classic pieces that might be a little more dainty, but something really bold too. A modern sofa with very tailored, strict straight lines, but in a hefty, hefty form. So it offers endless possibilities. All right, so now we're back to fine lines again, and the Mark Phillips Colorado rug from the Sierra collection emulates mountains and that desert feel. The colors are subtle, they're taken from nature, both of the sand and of the sky. And the mountain shapes are very subtle. They're triangular, graphic, again, subtle allusions to nature, which is what we want. Nature doesn't sort of hit us over the head. It sort of tickles us with great breezes and beautiful sunshine and softness. So that's what this rug does from Mark Phillips. Next, we have Alt for Living, and this is another rug that we've seen in pink before, but now we show it in aqua. And why I'm showing this particular rug again is because when we're talking about fine lines and geometrics, what this rug does is it shows that geometrics don't have to be hard edged. They can be soft and natural and organic. And the lines of this, it's sort of a grid pattern that's a little fuzzy and it has structure to it, but it's not so harsh and limiting and doesn't line things up so perfectly. And what we know about design is there's beauty in a little bit of imperfection, and this rug from Alt for Living demonstrates that. Next, from Hollywood at Home, first we have a chair that sort of plays around in a checkerboard fabric in a pebble color. That's what they call it. It's a lot of fun, and it's against a really organic, abstract pattern that has the yin yang effect with a blue wallpaper. And again, showing that sort of all over pattern with something that's more crisp and clean and clear cut and solid. It provides that visual tension that makes a room unique and gives the eye an opportunity to rest. Lighting is, I say it's my favorite category, but I say that about so many categories in the design world. But lighting is a particular favorite, not only because of its functionality, because it emits such beautiful light, but also because of its sculptural forms. Lighting has become has grown so much in the past 2 decades to be sort of basic add-ons for the purpose of just introducing and contributing light to true sculpture. Each chandelier, pendant, a flush mount, a sconce, they're looked to now almost as a piece of artwork. Each is individual. The finishes are beautiful. The finishes are unique and just so sculptural. So on that note, let's start with Circa Lighting. Circa is known for their family of top designers who all have lighting collections with them. Their interiors are graced even further by but by their imaginations and what they do for Circa. So first we have Thomas O'Brien's collection, and this is a new piece called the Alpha Convertible Sconce. And it was inspired, this is an interesting point, by a French geometric doorknob that was vintage. It can be installed upright, but I like it the way it's shown, which is sort of hanging. It looks like a loop. It looks like a tassel that you might hang on a doorknob, in fact. So that's what we love about that. Paul Ferrante, this is his Eclipse sconce, and sconces have just taken off as a category and have grown so much. People like them in pairs. They like them to line an entire hallway. That's how we're using lighting right now. We're using it as sculpture. Sometimes we use it in place of actual artwork, which is an interesting solution because we need light and sometimes we don't have enough wall space for a piece of artwork or the budget doesn't allow it. We go from the wall sconce to a chandelier, a crystal chandelier, but this is not what you think. This is from Wired Custom Lighting. And all I have to say for this is yowza. It's like part roller coaster with a polished stainless steel cage. It's called Anello and it's bejeweled with clear cut crystal baguettes. So again, not like the traditional style crystal chandelier we think of with hanging little teardrop shapes, but these are baguettes and certainly a more modern shapely form. Next, we go to the Nash pendant, and I call this a little bit of cubism, perhaps. Picasso would be proud. The finish on this marries antique and polished bronze. Then it has a clear crystal detail that wraps the bottom side of each cube. From Remains Lighting, We have more simple forms. We start with a sconce, the Eloise sconce, with a crystal chandelier, I'm sorry, a glass cylinder shade. What I love about this is the simplicity that it gives. Sure, we get enamored by those stunning chandelier forms that we see, like the one I just showed. But what ties interiors together are those calming moments of simplicity. Here, a graceful, clean-lined brass fixture with a beveled rectangular backplate shows a subtly flared candle cup and a hand-blown cylindrical glass shade. Also from remains is the Curtis twin sconce. This has a broad convex backplate bordered with a rope band, a detail that's continued in the cuffs that capture the arms, and in the wax pans and cup edges as well. And I can't emphasize enough the need and the necessity for simple lighting, because that's what's going to, again, create that visual tension against your yowza moments that hang from the chandelier and on wall sconces, and just more simple pieces like this that don't fight for attention. They just enhance the other beautiful pieces that are already there. And finally, in lighting, let's talk light switches. We sort of have become accustomed to the simple plastic light switch that sometimes gets covered in a wallpaper to match the room or a color to match the room. And sometimes there are a few more metal versions that are slightly more interesting. But new to LCDQ is Forbes and Lomax, which is a London company that sells decorative light switches like this aged brass switch that you see here. And I will note that it's not a flip style switch, but a push button switch. So again, adding style to the walls in a different way than what we're used to, a little bit of special design going on. Seat Yourself is all about chairs. Chairs inject personality into a space. And what's great about little chairs, you can have onesies of them. You can put one in a corner. You can put a pair next to a sofa. The opportunities are endless, and you always want to make sure that you have plenty of seating for your guest. And right now, you might need 10 or fewer seats to accommodate those guests, because we do have limitations right now. But when we're allowed to have more people in our homes, we want them to sit on something that's pretty or visually unique. So I'm starting with a piece from Arteriors. This piece is bamboo. It has I'm sorry, rattan that wraps a circular form. It's airy, it's organic, and shapely. Again, much like lighting, we want seating to have some sculpture to it. Then we go to Farrow and Ball and Mark Sykes and Chaddock. So we have a wonderful design trifecta going on with these three. Wow. Farrow and Ball has teamed with Mark Sykes for his new collection with Chaddock. We know Farrow and Ball for their gorgeous clear colors. It's produced in England. The beautiful colors that they have for their paint graces so many walls with a bit of history, a bit of nostalgia. And now on these new classic pieces from Mark Sykes and Chaddock, you see color emerge. And we know that Mark Sykes is known for his use of blue. So here he's not only incorporated a couple of different shades of blue, but red as well. So we have a little all-American, all-English moment going on with Chaddock, a very American company, and an English paint company. So thank you, Mark Sykes, for that. Next from Mecox Gardens is a chair that is so sculptural, sort of reminiscent of mid-century mod. It's rustic, it's vintage, and it can add style to an indoor or outdoor space. And we want to take note of Mecox. It's a trendy shop in the area, and it's garnered a lot of global interest because it sources its pieces from all over the world. There's something special about a corner chair. And next we have a set of chairs from Harbinger, all in different wonderful wood tones. And we know that brown furniture is making a comeback, so we should not be afraid of stains in those brown and blonde tones. But this is a bobbin chair. And we're all familiar with the bobbin chair, the classic ones, but here, this is a corner twist on it, if you will. And again, marrying a classic traditional concept with a more modern, updated version of that. So here's the bobbin chair. Now to Serena and Lily. Serena and Lily is known for its breezy California style. And here they have these wonderful beach chairs. And all I have to say is, again, 3 cheers for the red, white, and blue. And this blue is a little lighter than the indigo shade that supports the stars on our flag. But who wouldn't love to take these chairs to the beach? Talk about style. You'll need a great hat, a great umbrella, but these chairs will start your beach day off in a fabulous way. Next, we have McKinnon and Harris, and this is their Virginia 3-seater bench with an intricate cut out back. This is the classic white finish, and it's inspired by the elegant designs of English 18th century furniture. And so many of us long to be a rock star back in our youth and maybe slightly into our adulthood. And from McKinnon and Harris, they have their own version of a rock star with the Ote rocking chair in the Montebello green finish. A rocker is soothing. It's great on a warm summer afternoon to enjoy the garden, the birds, any guests that you have outside, any grandchildren that you may have frolicking in the yard. So here is a rocker that would be beautiful in so many outdoor environments. And what is an outdoor environment without a great barbecue? We're all ready for those warm summer nights when we can grill hamburgers and hot dogs and delicious vegetables. And from West Hollywood Fireside Barbecue is the Prism Outdoor Fire Pit. This would be great to gather around before you're actually eating at that barbecue that's nearby, and just a great place for conversation and to lounge while you're waiting for your food to be grilled. So this one is concrete cast. It's the outdoor modern fire pit, and it comes in various color options. Finally, the windows. Windows are so important during the summer because we want to be able to see outside. We want to be able to see the gardens, the beautiful weather, kids playing, neighbors riding by on their bicycles. And so summer, even when we're inside, we want to be able to see what it's doing outside. Victoria Hagen, we know Victoria's work. It's classic, it's timeless. She has these moments with light that's made her designs successful, and they've graced the pages of every magazine available, and we love her for her work. And now she's teamed with the Shade Store, and here is her title line of linens, linen and cotton blends that she has done in drapery panels that would hang so beautifully on the sides of French doors, of windows, again, that frame the outside. They will filter the light on a sunny day that's a little bit too bright, but it will filter that light in beautifully and provide a little protection for furnishings, but adding a softness to the architecture for sure. Next, we have the Sincati stripe fabric, and it was named after the lighthouse that watches over Victoria's family home in Nantucket, and that's where she grew up. So here you see it in the corner of a room, lots of panels framing an environment that holds a chair. And how lovely would it be to sit in that chair and read a book on a beautiful summer day, or even when it's summer and a little bit cloudy outside, it still, again, filters that light in so beautifully. Next, we move to the harbor stripe. And again, this is what I mean when I talk about horizontal stripes. They are not so good in the fashion world, but we do love them on a window. This is called the harbor stripe. And here it just really elongates and widens at the same time this breakfast area room. How beautiful would this be against a bank of windows? So we love that. And the wonderful little stripe detail that looks very much like a piece of ribbon. And this ribbon happens to be in linen. It's great for both traditional and modern interiors. And again, what Victoria does so beautifully is create those rooms and spaces that are trend resistant. They don't speak to a certain era. They don't speak to a certain genre of design. They're just classic and timeless, and they work for so long. And that's what we want our interiors to do. We want them to accomplish that feel of being put together over time and still having it all work, not creating design that looks like it was thrown together yesterday out of a showroom and is specific to a certain period of time. Finally, we have Lutron, and I wanted to talk about Lutron right after the Shade Store because they've teamed up together. And Lutron is the leader in automated lighting and shade control. So it only makes sense that they would team with the Shade Store and Victoria's new collection. So now you can get shades, drapery fabrics, and the electronic controls to open and close your window treatments from the Shade Store. That concludes my presentation of my favorite picks from this year's LCDQ introductions. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you have the opportunity to not only check out the new introductions, but all of these lines, because whether or not it's a new introduction or something that's been in their collection for a few markets, I promise you, these companies are all leaders in design. They continue to delight us with the most innovative product, wonderful construction, great manufacturing, and we know that when they show up in interiors, and those interiors show up in on our magazine pages because they've been executed so gorgeously by the leading designers across America. So thank you. I thank LCDQ Strong for having me be a part of this special day, and I hope to see you soon, and I hope that you pick up a copy of Traditional Home on the newsstands now. Thank you.